noted that there is a quorum present, 100% attendance. Is there any public comments?
No, sir.
Communications? No, sir. All right, let's start with the consent agenda. Consent agenda, we have minutes of the July 16, 2015 regular meeting, the financial report, extend adjunct facility member status to Bowie County Office, Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service, and Alamo Supply and Hardware. We can group together rounds A and B. C and D we need to go on separate action items.
You can actually do A, B, and C together, but you should do D.
So does anybody have anything from items A, B, and C that have to have a full 10 minutes? That's good. Hearing no one, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agendas A, B, and C.
A motion in a second. All in favor of the project, raise your right hand. It is unanimous.
I'll also make a motion to approve the consent agenda D.
Alamo Supply and Hardware checks. Second. I have a motion in a second. All in favor? Raise your right hand. It's unanimous. One abstention. Correct. I didn't get a chance to vote either, so all right. Just technical issues on there. Next, to the information items, principal's report, report.
All right, in elementary, we've got a very clean building ready to get going. Floors are black, everything's shining, looks really good. Fully staffed, so we've got everybody hired, everybody in place, so we are ready to go, just waiting on kiddos to show up. Had some of the workers this summer pressure wash some of the things around the building. Got some dirt daubers that have built, pressure wash some concrete, some awnings, and different things, and just try to clean it up. So it looks a lot better over there. Got 4 new picnic tables put out on the elementary playground, so the 3 through 5 playground. The primary side, they already have 3 picnic tables and then 3 other additional benches. So that was something that the teachers wanted at the end of the year, and got those assembled and put out there. So there's places for the kiddos to sit down and rest out there. Lunch, we changed that a little bit on the elementary side of things. In the past, what we've been doing is kind of using one side of the cafeteria, and lunch has kind of been staggered, drawn over an extended period of time. And we're sending the kids in to eat lunch pretty early. And some of that we don't have any control of, but we're able to bump lunch back about 20 minutes. So hopefully those kiddos won't be starving when they get out of school. I know mine can't wait to get something to eat. So we hope we see a little bit of improvement in there, and we're able to keep them full for a little bit longer time. Had new teacher orientation yesterday. Had 11 people here. 8 of those were not just new to the district. 8 of those had experience teaching, so they were not first-year teachers. So we had a good visit, answered lots of questions, basically gave them the rundown on where they can find whatever it is that they're looking for, local policy, as opposed to things that they were used to at other places. Gave them the tour, they were ready to go. Our nurse, we've kind of talked on and off about her and where she'll be stationed. The nurse's office, if you're familiar in the elementary where it was, we've actually moved it over. If you know where the faculty restrooms are, there's an office right across from it. So she moved over into that room. She thought that would be more beneficial if she has sick kids. It makes more sense to be right there across from the restroom. Access to water and different things like that. She'll also have an office, the one that was existing that Ms. Stone was in. She'll use that office as well from time to time. She'll be teaching health science classes. I know Mr. Johnson met with her today, and they had a lot of good ideas and talked about different directions to go with that. Another thing that we had talked about that we're going to do with the nurse is some changes to some of the health care as far as what the school districts are allowed to do, what they're allowed to provide. Some of those changes probably make a lot more sense when you're talking to someone or hearing someone talk rather than reading a piece of paper and all the legalities of the paper. So what we're going to do is create some short videos based off of each of those with the nurse talking, and we'll post those on Facebook, on the school website, so that each of the parents can go and look at that, and she can make common sense talk with everyone so they understand exactly what the changes are. We thought that was going to be a pretty good idea. Last thing I have is enrollment. We've had 2 days. Started out with just new student enrollment, so new students to the district, and then we've also allowed some of the existing students to come in and start completing some of the paperwork. But just from yesterday and today in the elementary, we are up 25 students, or we've had 25 new students to the district coming. So far, we have only seen 3 that have requested records to leave. So as of now, just 2 days into it, we're up 22. So it's always good on the positive side.
It's a great thing. That's a great thing.
So, and hopefully, we will continue to get some that come in. There will hopefully be a slew of them that just show up on the first day. Maybe they don't know that we're doing it at this time. So.
How many did you have last year?
Seems a
lot.
I really don't.
Less, we had some new ones, but we ended up being,
Well, the ones that
I was about to say upside down. We had more moves than came in, so.
It's good, yeah.
You'll hear on Facebook that everybody's sharing that, I don't know who started it, but I shared it on my page today as well about
coming in.
new registration going on right now.
That's on 4 states, right, Steve?
I believe that's correct.
Yeah, David, you did that?
Somebody did, I don't know who started it, but I just shared it from one of my friends.
And some of and I know Mr. Edge has done he sent
That's
out
why
a
he got
couple
the
more.
cover accounts, because he's helping us.
He sent out a couple of calls this evening that I got to hear the howdy before I come up here, but some of the things, and you guys can help spread the word if you're asked about it, but some of the parents, I think, felt like what we were doing and this new registration, it was just for new students. But in actuality, we need every student, even existing students, to come back, because what it is, it's those first day packets of paper that, are gobstick, and our teachers spend the whole week trying to figure out who brought theirs back. Sometimes they get turned into the office, sometimes they bring them to the teacher, and it's a ton of legwork just trying to keep track of those things. So this is designed to where we can hopefully get as many as possible signed, completed, and done before they ever step foot in a classroom. And that puts a week back in the teacher's hands of instruction. That's all I have. You guys have any questions for me?
That registration thing, is that across the board, all grades?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And we're doing, it's set up, Mr. Edges, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, but it's set up where you can go to the school webpage and print out the form, fill it out, and bring it up. But we've got the computer lab staffed with people to, if they will just come up here, we'll walk them through it, show them exactly what needs to be done, and we'll check everything off on that as they go. Questions?
Okay. We'll start off. FFA's been busy this summer. Of course, we got Katie Jennings. She's a district president. She got elected this year, so I threw a couple of pictures in there at the district leadership camp, and there's one there of her and her officers in a hula skirt, but they had to lead that camp and lead the entire district in 2 days of leadership meetings and skills. Then they went to Corpus to attend the State FFA convention, and all the officers went on that. We've got several students that have been volunteering at Wadley Hospital this summer. I think last time I heard we had 10 or 12 students that they're giving up their time each week. They're going over there, they're volunteering, helping out the hospital, helping with patients, and that's a good thing, because not only are they volunteering, but they're learning some compassion and learning some skills to work with other people. And that's not a bad thing in this world, just to learn a little more compassion each and every day. Maintenance, for our floors are waxed, our buildings are clean, we're just about there. We still had a few chalkboards in the building left over. And so we bought some shower board, we're putting up on those so that turning those into marker boards, but really everybody has a smart board. The only reason we didn't take those down is because they liquid nailed them to the walls, and if you've ever tried to scrape that off cinder block, it's not worth it. You just have to stand there with a grinder for hours and then spend dollars on paint. The registration was a great idea, and I'm always about technology. We had all just ginning along great. I've got over 100 hours in this thing this summer, and the software company decided they'd make a change the other day at the last minute, and it all flopped on us. And anyway, so we had a backup plan, and it's working well. It works great for the new students coming to the district. We're still enrolling them online, which is feeding all their information directly into our student management system. So it eliminates a person having to manually enter all that data. And that was the whole point of it, to streamline it, because if, those families that have 6 kids having to fill out a form for each kid, and there's 20 pages per kid that by the time you cover everything that's required. And so we were trying to streamline it some and eliminate some of the data input. In the end, I took a lot of the forms that were old forms that were copies of a copy that were turned this way, rebuilt them, made a PDF. They're fillable, so they are on the web. I've shared them on Facebook and Twitter, and so they can, if they have a printer and computer at home, they can go in, they can type it in, and they've got 4 kids, they can fill in their address, put one kid, print one, change the name and print, and they sign them, bring them up, and grab their schedules or the homerooms. And that's kind of the carrot, because they really want those homerooms and those schedules, and they'll do that. Some of you saw the article. I put a link in there to the article. I talked with Mr. Peavy, and I spoke with Mr. Oglesby, and he agreed that we've been kind of having some discussions at church about MISD and the neat things that were going on. And so I messaged him one evening and said, hey, I wrote an article. If we're accepting transfer applications, would you publish it? And he said, absolutely. So I got permission from Mr. Peavy and drafted up a little press release, and Mr. Oglesby posted it for us this morning on 4 States News. And what'd you say right before the meeting, how many shares?
Over 200.
Over 200 shares already. So, that's pretty good press, for free press for MISD. And if we get one good transfer kid out of that, that's $5 to $6 grand for the district. So.
And another good kid.
And another good kid. And that means we get to grow those programs like robotics and forensics and all the things we do. We get to grow them a little more. Parking spot painting permits. So I think Redwater does it. I heard that they sell painting permits, and you pick your spot, you buy your permit, and you get to paint your parking spot, and that's yours for the year, and you get to decorate it. And so I've toyed with it for 2 years, and then I had some requests, so we decided we'd do it. And anyway, we came up with I took several schools' guidelines and pulled them together. And basically, it meets dress code rules, and they have to get their artwork, they have to turn it in, they have to get it approved. They can only paint whenever an administrator is present. We've got set up painting times. That way we don't have paint fights. We don't mess somebody else's artwork up. There's other things in there. There's consequences if you do something you shouldn't. And in the end, the permit's $25. That money goes into a scholarship fund. So far, we've sold 16. So that's $400. That's 2 scholarships that we can give at the end of the year. And I suspect we'll have to have an extra painting day, because after some of them see them, it'll catch on. It's new. And I think they want to do more of those. The bus lot, we have set some telephone poles over there. Mr. Barron bored through them, staked them down so we can back the buses in and have a bump stop to keep us from going through the fence. But I'm getting wheels put on the gates, and that way we'll be able to lock our buses up at night. We'll be compliant with Homeland Security. I've got SWEPCO. I talked to them today. They're supposed to come out and talk to me about putting a light on the pole that's there so that we have a floodlight aid for security reasons, so the camera can see, and B, when our drivers come in early in the morning and it's dark to check out their buses, they can see, and it's a safety concern. I've talked to Mark, and he's gonna mount a camera there on the corner of the gym so that we'll have surveillance on them as well. And then Mr. Johnson, he's been busy all summer. There's a couple pictures there. He's built bookshelves, he's built desks, he's built ramps. He's just been a little carpenter all summer long. But he's been trying to save us a little bit of money by doing the work, and instead of going and buying particle board shelves that don't hold up under books, he built the library, a set of shelves, and I suspect if a tornado comes through, they'll still be standing there. And then band, they started August 3rd. Those guys are wearing them out there. I'm going to tell you. 2 to 5 in the band hall, they're practicing fundamentals of music, and then 6:30 to 8, they're marching. So I look forward to hearing them. I think it's going to be an exciting year, and especially we're really young in the band. You give them 2 or 3 years, and those kids get up there, it'll be an amazing time. And then the fact that we're having elementary music this year, I know some of the elementary kids that have heard, they're really, really excited. Band director's excited because that's where you go to your program. Down in the younger kids, teach them the fundamentals, and you can grow that program and get more of them excited about it. And then, of course, tonight we've got a 6th grade orientation going on, Cardinal Camp. First time we've done that, but it seems like every year the 6th graders come over and they're wide-eyed because it's a different building. They have lockers, and they have to change classes 8 periods in a row. They have to go all the way to the gym, and oh my, I only have 4 minutes to get to class, so they're running down the hall full speed, running over each other. And a little different dress code, a little different in the cafeteria. So all our 6th grade teachers came in. Miss Debbie's in the cafeteria to talk to them. Nurse Nisi's here to talk to them about the procedures for going home. Miss Buffy will go over procedures in the office. We'll talk about all that. They'll get their schedules. They're going to walk through their schedules. They're going to meet their teachers tonight and be able to sit down with them and find out what they're going to do in those classes. Just be able to ask questions and be a little more relaxed than meet the teacher night when everybody's over there and they can't find anything. And it'll be more of a guided tour. So I tried that in South Texas. It worked really well. And while they're on their tour, parents go to the computer lab and they're doing registration. So that should be about 37 more kids' paperwork that we get done if they all show up. I know the cafeteria had quite a few people in it when I went into the introduction. About 7:10 they'll be through. Miss Harrell will bring them out to the lawn out here. They're going to play some games. They're going to socialize. Mr. Barron's out there cooking hot dogs for them. So feed them and they'll come. That's all I got. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Rich.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, first major, I guess, news, there's a change to the football schedule. We found out yesterday the superintendent from Fruitvale called Miss Peavy, and they had canceled their season. So,
Coach got his first win. He's excited about it.
we got a district win already, so. Numbers. Their school every 2 years, they bounce back and forth from the 6-man to 11-man, but they canceled that. It has 2 changes. One, if we lose a district game, which will be a forfeit, so I mean it doesn't, which everybody gets the same thing, but it changed homecoming. Homecoming was scheduled for that date. You can see on the top, there's an open date, October, I didn't make myself a copy, 23rd. And homecoming is now moved to September 18th with Queen City here. So we emailed the district yesterday. Hopefully the word will get out. We'll get everything posted on that we did change homecoming. A lot of the calendars are posted around town. The schedule would be wrong on that. But, that's out of our control. And switched it as soon as we found out and got the information out. And I'll get with Ted, we'll get that posted on social media stuff, that there was a change to the football schedule and a change to homecoming. So we reached as many people as possible on that. Football, we did start practice last Monday. You can't call it 2-a-days anymore, state guidelines, UIL. We're going roughly 3 hours a day with football practice. On the field at 7, off field at 10, weights, meetings, conditioning stuff. Through that, 35 participants is kind of where we're holding right now, which is right at the area of having a full varsity, having a full JV. You know, JV we're trying to keep together. That'd probably be a week-to-week deal depending on the size of the team we play. You know, because not throwing our kids out. Redwater tomorrow night has 30-something freshmen. I have 11 healthy kids for our JV. I talked to Coach Rath. They're going to inter-squad first, and then we're bringing our JV over probably around 7:20 and just do a few series with some of their JV players after the fact, just because I don't want to throw my kids out there with 30-something players, and it's not fair to our kids, you know, with a bigger school. So we will scrimmage tomorrow night at Redwater. JV approximately around 7:20, 7:30. Varsity will start at 8. We're going 4 series in the live quarter. So we'll get to see the kids in action, and I'm excited about that. They've been working hard, and you know, I know it'll be a big rival contest, a lot of blood there, and hope our kids respond and show up, participate well. Volleyball has 25 participants out in high school. They have started their season with scrimmages and games. Lost to Queen City earlier this week. We play at Ore City tomorrow with volleyball, so they're already next week in tournaments, full speed, and you know, good participation there. Football, Redwater, talk about scrimmages. Very excited about the coaches that stay here. All our coaches are working. They have been working since August 3rd. With girls coaches working volleyball, boys coaches working football, and even working cross country. Coach Foley is working volleyball right now and cross country. So, you know, we're full go in all our practices. And, you know, from what I walk around, I've been in volleyball practice, I've been in football practices. You know, the kids are excited, the coaches that we kept are doing a great job, the coaches we hired are doing a great job. I have no complaints, no issues with our coaches, with their performance so far and their attention to our kids. So, you know, we're really excited about all the upcoming seasons and for the kids and for our coaches. And I guess the last thing would be the ice cream social is next Thursday night, the 20th, after Meet the Teachers around 7:45 for the Meet the Cardinals ice cream social. And they are requesting if anybody wants to make homemade ice cream, get with the cheerleaders, get with Brandy, and get some donations. We are doing it after Meet the Teacher, expecting a lot of people to participate in that. So any questions?
Thank you.
Yes,
Next item on the agenda, item number 6, consider and discuss the naming of the competition gym. Guys, this is something I asked to get on the agenda. First off, you know, that gym was built when, in the 80s?
As I say, 84, or 86, I believe.
It was the 20 years I lived here, we would call that the new gym. It's not a new gym. And I thought it'd be appropriate to come up with some type of name. Talked to some members of the community and suggested, I heard some names suggested. Just putting out for discussion that we named the gym the Hugh by Stewart Memorial Gym. And you know, I'm not a lifelong resident of Hugh by Stewart Memorial Gym. Hugh by Stewart, for those of you like me that aren't lifelong Mott residents, was my understanding basketball coach back when Mott was kind of a basketball powerhouse, and that was the sport we had. And heard of nothing but fine reputation for him. Also was the high school principal here at Mott. I would like for us to discuss naming the gym something other than the new gym. Suggestion is that we name it after him. Definitely open the floor to see if anybody else has any other suggestions or things that they prefer, or anybody has any. Everybody thinks that's a bad idea.
Well, I'm not a lifelong resident. I've been in the area. Is there any other coach that won us championships besides him? Does anyone know? Right.
Coach Stewart won numerous championships. To my knowledge, there's been no one to coach basketball since him that's had,
That,
ongoing success.
okay.
Might be a year here or there, but
I don't know that particular history, that's why I was waiting on you guys to find out if there's someone that might.
I didn't either, I had to do some inquiring.
Right.
I was coached by Coach Stewart, and I always thought very highly of him. He's a good man and a good coach.
Anybody else have any comments?
All for it.
Anybody?
Here all my life.
I've had people ask me about it over the years now. Actually, recently I had not, but had that question posed to me numerous times by numerous people.
So we can work out the logistics, but I'd like to see some type of ceremony where we name the gym, the family be brought in. I know, of course, you might be here, but some of his family, some type of ceremony or something to do that. And we'll get some, once we get named and lettering up on the gym.
He's got 2 children that still live in my office. And one is, his oldest son is deceased. Of course, his wife is deceased.
I'll make the motion. Okay, we have a motion. Second. Motion and a second. All in favor? Opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you all. Item number 7, consider and approve the 2015-2016 Mod ISD Teacher Appraisal Calendar.
Actually, items 7 and 8 are somewhat linked together. The appraisal calendar is a detailed look at when appraisals can occur, when particular documents are due that go with particulars of teaching, and who the appraisers would be, the people who evaluate those teachers would be listed in the item number 8. Those are 2 separate items, but they're really linked together. One is just an overview of the days that are blacked out when you can and cannot begin to observe teachers. And that's a mandate through the state.
Anyone have any questions regarding these 2 agenda items?
The appraisal would be done by the same person, or would it be different people? I'm trying to look here, what?
If normally it would be the campus principal. If you'll have a series of smaller walkthroughs, or whether that be written or just informal walkthroughs where you give some feedback, and then you'll have a formal observation where you're giving your annual evaluation. It'll generally be done by the campus principal or assistant principal in the case of the secondary building. If there's some issue or discrepancy, there's an alternative appraiser listed there that can come in and appraise as well.
Okay.
But yeah, it'll be campus specific.
Any other discussion? Is that something that we can approve together, or do we need to approve separately?
I would say you need to approve them separately, but they're really linked together, truthfully.
All right, so
One is the calendar and one is the...
entertain a motion to approve the appraisal calendar. So do we have a second?
A second.
Have a motion and a
Who made the
second.
motion, I'm sorry?
Steve
A
and
second.
Marcus did the second. We have a motion and a second to approve the appraisal calendar. All in favor? Opposed, like sign. It is unanimous. Entertain a motion for item number 8 to consider and approve the teachers' appraisers.
I'll make a motion.
Have a motion, we have a second. Have a motion and a second. All in favor? It is unanimous. Next item, item number 9, consider and propose the 2015-2016 budget.
You should have a copy of the proposed budget. It was sent to you, but then I also gave you a copy in your stack. It didn't change a lot from when we talked about it in July, as far as the net. We had basically it's a break-even budget. It was 12,000 before and now it's 6,000. There were some changes, but fortunately there were changes in revenue that offset the expenditure changes. The revenue changes were basically due to, we got the July appraisal roll, and there were changes in that. The expenditure changes, we got the bill from Liberty ILO for our shared services, and it was up double. We basically have to, only thing we can base next year on is what happened this year, because that's a process of not just our district, but enrollment there by other schools. And we all share the cost, so if less kids are sent by other districts, it makes our cost per student go up. So that went up significantly, so we adjusted the budget accordingly.
Does anybody know what the cost will be? Is this something that we can do in-house?
That's not me.
The reason I ask is then our cost per student will be the same.
Well, what you're looking at is, in this area, we've got several different shared services co-ops. You've got Western Bowie, and then you've got the Liberty ILO. There's, 8 or 10 that go into the New Boston co-op, and then there's us, Redwater, and Liberty ILO that go into their shared services co-op, in which we share the cost of the teaching staff for particular areas. So in other words, if we had a need for a particular unit, we might not have the need for that unit each and every year. They will staff it, and then any of those districts that would send a student for that service. So it would be difficult for us to staff.
None of the local schools do
Yeah,
it themselves.
we would have to have a really larger population of students with specific needs.
Offset the salary per need for the child. So it's a per need child basis, I'm assuming?
Right.
Okay.
And we have no control over that.
It's,
If we need it, it's there.
Right.
Okay.
whether it be a behavior unit or a life skills class or,
How many years have we belonged to the program? Anybody know?
quite some time. I'm not sure. It's well before,
Before my time.
I was about to say, what?
I'd say 15.
I was going to say 15 or 20 years.
Or is this the highest cost that we've seen to date?
Yes.
So kind of out of left field, just the number of students down.
I think our students going up, other students going down, and then I think it will probably increase just as seems like the demand for those type of services, the needs of our kids are,
And basically what it is if you've got a student that needs a particular program, they will have a staff member in place, and basically the cost of that teaching staff would be divided amongst the districts that are in there. So if there were 5 students in there, they would be divided 5 ways if it was 5 different districts. But
And this is the special needs?
yes.
Okay.
but it's not behavior.
Yeah, it can be a behavior unit, it can be a life skills unit, it can be PPCD.
So basically, whatever we don't have staffing here for,
Yes, sir.
it's just outsourced.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So that was the largest increase. We had a few other changes. We have a Band-Aid.
A Band-Aid for Band-Aid?
We need a copier in the middle school, high school that we could tell by the end of the summer it just wasn't going to make it. And then we lowered that little reserve that we have for accrual differences that I explained that happens at the end of the year. We had 30 set aside for that. We lowered that to 15, kind of offset the expenses, and we're just going to cross our fingers next summer. So the net impact of all of that just reduced it from a $12,000 positive to a $6,000 positive. I'm really excited about the possibility of getting more kids because this was based on our enrollment going down like it had been. So that will change everything for our enrollment.
Well, Scott's net of 22?
Yes,
Yeah,
that will be.
That's 32 children, a difference if that holds true day one. And that's,
But we gotta keep them.
yeah, and I mean, that's what I'm saying, if no one leaves, but I mean,
Yeah.
at this time,
$50,000.
It's sure better than starting the other direction.
exactly, this time this year, we were just getting withdrawal, people looking for jobs and moving to different areas, so that's very, very, very encouraging.
Did our MOE change as well?
No, I left that the
Was that the
same.
same?
And that's the number that we just kind of have to set aside that we hope we don't have to use.
Right.
So what are we looking at out of the fund balance? The blue over there? The thing that
Yes,
says
those are the items that were mentioned that
we have budgeted for
y'all
that?
wanted to do.
Right.
But we don't have them in the budget up at the top, but we designated that that amount would come out of our fund balance.
Out of fund balance for current yearly budget or?
What we're proposing?
No, out of the existing fund balance.
Separate from.
Actually, I said that wrong. They are in the top numbers in the budget, but we're saying that those are not ordinary expenses. So we recognize right off the top that they would come out of fund balance. Now, if our enrollment increases,
You might not have to draw it.
you may not have to draw it out of fund balance. Or if you choose to do some other things, like we had talked about, that might happen for Christmas or anything like that, then you might want to still take these out of fund balance. The reason we designate them as being out of fund balance is because they weren't ordinary business expenses.
Not ongoing recurring expenses.
One-time expenditures.
And that, just because we designate them like that, doesn't mean you have to do them. But it's just setting that money aside, because when, in the audit report, one of the items that you have to do is designate your fund balance, what you intend or you may do with it. And you have to do that by like November, I think.
These items listed there are not projected in this year's coming general fund, budget.
Yes, they are.
They are.
They are, okay.
We're just recognizing that it could
Go
have to
another way.
come out of the actual fund balance and not out of the current year's revenue. That
If
we
we
may not.
don't meet balanced budgets, which is.
Right.
Okay.
Any other questions regarding?
Does that make sense, Marcus?
Yeah, I was just making sure that, trying to figure out where it was coming from, if it was in this year's budget. It is, but it's not if we don't meet that.
Yeah.
And it's hard to know how to show that, but basically we just need a little group that we can designate in the audit report.
And none of these we had not all agreed upon doing currently.
You can do all of those, or you can do none of those.
Okay.
If the cafeteria roof didn't leak, we might not do the cafeteria roof. If we said we didn't want to do the vehicles, and, those are all decisions we can make. Once you get a little more information on enrollment and some of the things along those lines.
Okay.
Melford, back to just the basics on this. What we're doing tonight is just putting this forth, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Just proposing.
Then there's going to be a 10-day period with the public notice before we come back.
And then at the next meeting,
Be adopted.
I will say though, that normally when you propose it, this is it. Because we'll be closing out and beginning the year, and there's a very small window of time to open up our new
you can't
year.
rework this thing.
Right.
Okay.
Throw the county in a technicality.
Sure.
And it allows the public to come in if they've got questions about any piece of it. Get that next week.
These are all things that we've discussed previously.
And it's, it's a budget, it's not, if things change drastically, which I hope they do, I hope the enrollment goes up, we amend normally in the fall, we may amend sooner in the fall. So it's always subject to being amended.
Love to be admitted into the policy.
Yes, I would love to be
I'm more
in
than
that
that extra
direction.
money. How we can help our kids.
gonna do
Our
this.
fund balance, if we took this, what is that, $170,000 out of it, that still leaves us, we're still in good shape.
We're still
As far as
exceeding.
state mandated reserve and all that.
We'd still be at about 7 months.
And one thing, there'll be a notice that comes out in the paper, that's one of the things we have to vote on. You know, y'all decide the date to put that out and everything. You'll notice in the paper, we have to show our fund balance. But what that is your unencumbered fund balance. So any debt that you have, notes or anything, has to be subtracted from that balance. So we really have more money than that, but that's our unencumbered fund balance. So if you see that.
That means if all loans are called due today,
That's
you
right.
pay them.
Right.
Okay, I got you.
Good point. Any other questions or discussion?
I do have one question on the vehicles. Was that more than one? As in
Yes.
as in two?
Yeah, what we talked about is several different scenarios, just looking at the vehicles, whether it be a Suburban and a car, or whether it be 2 cars, or you know, looking at different options and seeing where because we spend a large part of our school year, you know, we feel like we do need a vehicle that will carry kids like a Suburban, but we also feel like that we need a car for staff that goes over to Mount Pleasant. You know, that's quite a drive to take a Suburban for 1 or 2 people.
Sure.
And we feel like, you know, some kind of small car would be, or 2, you know, depending on what kind of car you got.
Right.
You know, those sorts of things. So we took a round number of, you know, as an estimate there. It may be less than that, it may be a little more than that, but that was just kind of a.
All right, take a motion to propose the 2015-2016 budget.
So moved.
A motion, we have a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor? It is unanimous. Next item, item 10, consider and propose the 2015-2016 property tax rate.
The tax rate, I think I had a typo multiple times on the tax rate. So you should have a new sheet on the desk.
It went from $1.21 to $121, so just.
And then it went to 121.6. Anyway, the tax rate is $1.17. That's our M&O, or maintenance and operations, and we can't go above that without a vote, so a public vote. And the debt service, the INS rate, computed to be .0461, which gives us a total tax rate of 1.2161. The INS rate is up a little bit, but that increase for the average homeowner would be $5.78 a year. And that rate is basically just computed by what the template reflects that we're going to get from the state, less the loan payment amount is how much we have to come up with, that divided by the tax roll. So there's, you know, it's really nothing that, like, y'all can't just make it lower to please everybody. It's not a lot different.
Just like we can't arbitrarily double it to get more money.
Yeah.
Not that we would do. All right, any questions or comments regarding the consider proposal in 2015-2016 property tax rate? I would entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion, have a second?
I'll second.
A motion and a second, all in favor? It is unanimous. Consider, item number 11, consider and take action to modify the compressed tax rate for the 2015-2016 school year.
Hang on just a second.
There should be 2 documents that are attached on this one. One is a notification from TEA, and one is a narrative.
This is something that basically was built into the template all along. So all we're doing is ensuring that the shift from one pocket, it's called the Tier 1, that we're taking advantage of the opportunity that they've given us to reclassify that compressed tax rate. I don't fully understand it. I just know it helped us a lot to do it. And if we don't vote it to do it and we don't send them a letter,
You don't receive it.
we don't receive it. But it's already built into our budget. We've counted on that revenue. We just have to go through the formalities of doing it. And it doesn't change anything. It doesn't change our tax rate. It just moves it from one bucket to another bucket.
Read the letter and you'll understand a little more about it.
There's the letter.
I did read the letter.
And how confused we are.
We're taking out a Peter's budget instead of Paul's, what you tell them.
There's no harm in it, it helps us
Correct.
reclassify, and it's something we have to take action on to take advantage.
Right.
If I'm mistaken, I think this
Well,
is.
it's a good thing.
When we have a rollback,
Right.
this is the effort that the state gives us because we're going to roll back. You know, for every 1 cent that we raise, that is 1/4% on
That's
You
right.
probably understand what it
Yeah.
is.
So,
That's it. I went around there.
It has to do with the rollback, yes. I believe that is correct.
Who writes this stuff? I mean,
This isn't even a complicated.
oh, God.
Need a motion? Yes, we need a motion. Thank you, sir. We have a second. A motion and a second. All in favor? It is unanimous. Item number 12, call a public meeting to hear questions and to discuss the 2015-2016 proposed budget and the 2015-2016 proposed property tax rate. This has to be at least
10 days.
10 days in the future. We have a proposed date for 2 weeks from tonight.
That's correct.
And we're gonna have a public meeting before the board meeting or in conjunction with?
In conjunction with. Correct. Basically, it's a chance for people to see this, voice their concerns, come back, and then us a chance to formally adopt it.
Will that be, the format is, they're gonna question us about the budget and the tax rate and all that stuff? Or
It's never happened since I've been on.
They have the opportunity to
They have
ask,
the opportunity.
they have the opportunity to ask any specific questions regarding how those budgetary items come about or how we came to some of those conclusions, and we do our best to answer those in a way that would be.
So unlike our public comment section, there is interaction? Okay, I'm with you.
I guess, I mean, we've never had.
Yeah, there can be.
Yeah, okay.
It's an open meeting.
Yeah, fine.
Good question. All right, so anyone we have a motion to set the meeting?
I'll make that motion. Where's that?
Thursday the 27th. Same time, same place.
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion, we have a second. A motion and a second, all in favor?
Who seconded?
Richard. It is unanimous. All right, consider and take action on athletic complex and grounds contracted services. Sure. My understanding is that we have a copy of the contract,
Proposed pieces of it, yeah.
proposed pieces of the contract.
There we go. 1, 2, 3. There we go. You got one? You got one?
My understanding is, I'll address you, Daniel, on this, not yet had a chance to get the licensing and,
No, not, the application has been filed, but the state of Texas won't even take the application until you provide general liability insurance. Okay. That insurance has, and we were kind of unaware of that until we got through all the stuff. The insurance has been bought, and the application has been filed. Probably, it's going to be 2.5 to 3 weeks before you get the code back. The state will send you a code, and you take that to a third-party company that they're using now to take the test. So the insurance been involved, the application's been filed, study manuals should be here Monday or Tuesday, and then I'll just go take the test.
I would suggest that we table this contract until what time all that is received, and then we can act upon it, because everything would be in agreement at that point with the contract, continue on the month-to-month contract that we have now, until what time all that is received. Is in discussion, or, I mean, this is my thought process. My understanding was in the last meeting that this was going to be done before we did the contract.
There was, yeah,
And I understand that you had a good faith effort to do that. I'm not questioning that, and I think you will do it.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Because I've already, like I said, who's not gonna go get the license when I've already spent $1,000 out of my pocket?
Oh, you bet.
Yeah, the state of Texas sometimes does not get in a big hurry with the paperwork, is it? That's very true.
Rather than table this, can we approve it contingent, put a contingency upon his obtaining the license?
And if he, would we put a time deadline on that, or?
Absolutely, I think a reasonable time deadline of 60
days.
60 days. Surely, then you think you can,
I told Coach Cross today that I would assume by the second week, by the end of this month, they should have that code back to me. And then all I've got to do is go take the test.
Would it not hurt to go and table it though? Oh, yeah. Well, the risk in doing it that way is if something other delay, we've already approved it contingent on that, then we'd have a violation of contract. You know, my only thought process, this gives the flexibility, kind of protects Daniel if there was something else that happened, and protects us if there's something else that happened and didn't go through the way we assumed. I'm not saying that's the only way to do it.
No, it's just a question. I'm not even.
And the only question I have is, like I said, in this original contract, there was mowers and stuff provided. There are none now.
There's no what?
Mowers. I'm using all my own equipment.
Right.
Under the same money of the old contract.
Okay.
I'm providing, I have not bought fuel. I don't know, you can go back and look at the card. I have not bought fuel in over 9 or 10 months. I'm providing that. I'm providing 3 mowers. Whereas this old contract, the mowers were provided. So that's still expense that's coming out of my pocket every month.
Correct.
That I'm trying to recoup the price difference you see on the back sheet.
So that's the purpose for the increase in the price?
Yes, I mean, because I'm providing all the equipment, I'm providing all the mowers, I'm providing all the fuel. I will be providing spraying at the school's expense of buying the chemicals. I'm providing the insurance. The school's not providing the insurance. That's where the price is, the $400 a month.
Okay.
This will keep us, coaches, this is for you and Daniel, we won't need any other
We
outside
should not need
services.
any of the outside services. We should not have to contract any other services for any of our field maintenance.
this is just field only, correct?
Athletic complex and practice field. So basically fenced area and roadways at the athletic complex.
Okay.
So in and outside of the fields. The spraying and then the game football practice field. But then the spraying outside would be
What about,
as needed or as y'all wanted, but we've included everything for the athletic complex fields and high school practice field.
In the old contract, the practice field was never included. So Coach Cross, I have been going to practice field since I've been doing it, just because, you know, so it would look nice, had the kids. Well, then Coach Cross decided he wants some extra mode out there. He's trying to expand his practice area. So I have picked that up also.
will this, will this be all the way up to the roadways or just right outside the fence area?
It's the Highway 8.
Okay, that was my concern would be is, you do an awesome job, I know, but just right outside the fence and the state has it mowed and it's 4 foot
Yeah.
tall and we have a game coming in, I just want to make sure that
We put on our number 3 is no athletic facility, including roadway and football practice field. I was under the understanding it would be to the road, from the fence to the roadway, to the road.
okay.
Have we ever, how long have you done this, Danny?
5 years?
You got 4 contracts in there, so I would say 4 or 5 years.
2009?
2000, I got January.
I'd like to,
December 2009 was one. 2009.
And we gave increases during the time, we just, it was as services changed or whatever. It's not the same
It's not the
contract.
same contract. When I was doing just at the fields at one time, and then I picked up and started doing the whole thing. That's where the other money come from.
And then you did, and there was a sprinkler piece to it, I believe. There was an addendum for sprinkler maintenance or on one of them.
I looked at all the continuous contracts with the board discussion last month and with discussion, me and Daniel have been meeting since, I guess, April, talking about this. So that is a combination of all prior contracts plus additional services discussed by the board, myself, Mr. Martin, since I've been here. So that is,
This
this
is what you guys are at. This
Yes.
is what you want to see done.
That's where we were at upon combining all of, because everything else it was this contract with this added to it. So, and we had this year, it was written into this, that cleans everything up, puts it on the one contract, and both parties are understanding the expectation requirements of that. Sure.
Is he going to put the athletic complex or coaches in a situation, if we do table this until that time, is going to affect services or?
can I make a suggestion? I think we're beating Daniel up here by dragging this out.
Yeah, we kicked this can down the road.
Yeah, go to your $2,100 now when he gets his applicator's license, then we can formalize the contract.
Just increase his pay basically for his services.
And as soon as he gets his license, the next board meeting, we can execute this contract and stuff.
He's getting paid for the services he's going to provide, it's just not a formula. It's still month to month.
Yeah, but we need to pay him. I mean, he's putting his own mowers, his own gas, and now increased duties. So essentially, Daniel, what we're talking about is a gentleman's agreement until you come to us and say, here's the license, make a copy of it, and let's do the contract.
Unless anyone else
You
has,
live with that?
Yes, sir, I can.
unless anyone else has a better suggestion, I mean, I don't know.
I think that's a good suggestion. I think it's past time for.
Yeah. So, well, I'll make that motion.
What is the motion?
We're going to pay him more. We're going to go the amount on the contract.
To the current contract salary.
And as soon as he gets his license at the next board meeting, then we will formalize the contract and go from that point.
Right now, we're just going to increase his month-to-month pay to the proposed amount on the
I don't
contract.
have that proposal, so it's increase it to what?
2,100.
Yes, sir.
It's on the same thing.
You could, I mean, that would just be something you would have to reallocate, you know, I don't know what,
I missed what you said there.
I mean,
We had somebody on the campus that couldn't mow that, so I was just wondering why he's not.
you could assign duties to other places as you need to. There'd be some, you'd have to reshuffle some of the duties that he currently is doing, and those would have to go to somebody else.
So he done that time there.
He's picked up some additional duties at the ag facility. You know, we'd have to take some of the small maintenance, like, you know, what would you think, David? I mean, as far as, I don't know if he would have time to take a big piece of ground and,
How much room you mow?
yeah, that's what I was about to say. I don't know if that would be a reasonable.
Just a question.
No, I mean,
Is
I
that
don't
something we
think
should
that he
discuss?
does a quality job, does he? When
we,
he mows it? The other one?
You what?
We're talking about the practice field.
Yeah. That's all.
And you wanted them qualities.
we can, if you
The
feel,
practice field?
I think that would.
Yeah, I would rather have Daniel mow the practice field.
you'd like to talk about everything executive.
Yes, I would.
Okay. Is that all right with you?
So we're going to stop on this agenda item and revisit it after executive session?
During executive session, yeah, and come and everybody discuss it.
Okay.
Because I think there's more concerns here that are not coming out from board member.
Does anybody have a problem with that, or?
I'm fine with it.
All right, then we'll just, suspend the conversation right now on this item, and we'll come back and revisit it after we come out of executive session.
Superintendent's report.
All right, this item, superintendent's report, thank you.
All right. We've got future in-service dates and a full schedule for them. We're going to have some technology training and a number of different things that we've looked at. We've got several summer maintenance projects underway. We've completed the cafeteria ceiling. If you haven't been in there, it looks super. That makes quite a difference in the overall appearance of the cafeteria. We're still getting bids on some walkways on the elementary, and we're still looking at making some much needed repairs on some electronics at the football stadium speaker wise. So that's the summer maintenance piece of it. You have in front of you a board meeting scheduled for 2015-16 as the dates on there. Also, have a couple things to report. We've received notification on our state assessments, and we have met standard, and Ms. Sanders will give a more detailed look at how we did in each area. I think you're going to find that we compared very favorably to both state and local districts, and there's a comparative look on a number of different things. It's pretty detailed. Again, kind of at times a little tedious to go through, and I'll let her provide you some information and kind of go through each one of those pieces, through each of the indexes, and we'll talk about some of our strengths, and we'll talk about some of the things that we need to grow on as a district, and we'll move forward on that. Also received a copy of our school safety and audit report. Mr. Lee Gill came in from the service center and provided me with an overview of what we had take place. On February 10, 2015, security specialists conducted an on-site visit in Mont ISD for the purpose of providing technical assistance to the district for the purposes of school security. The service is to assist you in maintaining a proactive approach to a safe and drug-free school for all students and staff, satisfying the requirements of Senate Bill 11, TEC 37108 for safety audits once every 3 years. The following areas were included in the Region 8 safety audit process: security assessment, vulnerability assessment, interior buildings where they looked at security of classrooms, electrical issues, fire safety, tripping hazards, first aid capacity, cafeteria, kitchen, chemical storage, school climate and culture, grounds, building exterior, outlying buildings, playground safety, science labs, critical documents, emergency operation plans and procedures. Okay, so they came in and they went through those. Basically what he told us was we had one of the, if not the best in Region 8, we had one of the best last year, and it was better this year. And he went through and he talked about some different things, and I would be very willing to share this and let you look. The interview actually, he showed up unannounced. He walks through the campuses. He times when he is stopped and asked who he is, and go through that process. He interviews staff. He interviews children. He looks at our emergency procedures when they've been done, what we've done as a strength, areas that we need to improve upon. It was a very good audit. He gave us one recommendation, and it was a broken window in the weight room. And he recommended that we also continue working on a reverse evacuation. So we felt like that we did a very, very good job. He said, without a doubt, this is one of the best places that he's been through, and felt like the climate and the culture was great. He listed cleanliness of the buildings, friendliness of the staff, students' comfort with adults and children alike. There's lots of positives in here, and I think you would feel very good about reading it. It's a pretty good look at our campus and some of the good things that are being done. So anyway, it was outstanding. So that's done once every 3 years. And that's what I have.
Just for my own edification, what is a reverse evaluation? It seems like a contradiction.
You're outside, we need to get you inside early.
Okay.
And that, sometimes that's the one that is, the one that we sometimes don't work on to the full extent that we need to. That's an oversimplification, but, we're somewhere and we need to get somewhere else.
Yeah, quit while you're in.
So, anyway.
Mr. Conlon will move into executive session at 7:45 p.m. We'll take about a 2-minute break. Okay, it's now 9 p.m. We're exiting executive session at the same time we're in here. We're going to revisit item number 13 on the agenda, consider and take action on athletic complex and grounds contracted service. Do we have any discussion? Do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we go along with that contract and approve that contract with one brief addendum, and that is that Mr. Martin will be found in breach of contract and the contract voided if his state application license is not finished by 60 days, within 60 days after he receives the code from the state, so he can go forward with
Have a motion?
Sorry.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor? It is unanimous. I'll take motion to adjourn.
Right, nice question like that. When does that start? We just paid his August check. Is that okay?
it.
It would be set to.
Starting with a September check.
Okay,
The August check that you paid was the previous amount?
1,700. So we paid Daniel Martin, what was the contract amount? 2,100 per month with the new contract provided,
Yeah.
unless he's found in breach of that contract in the next 60 days.
No, 60 days from receipt of the number he needs from the state code.
Code number, state code.
So if there was a 5-day delay on him getting that number, it would not
Okay.
address him. So his clock will start running until he receives that from the state and it's in his control.
I think I got that.
All right? Everything, got everything in it? Any other business? Anything motion?
I make a motion to adjourn.
You have a motion, you have a second. All in favor, stand.